So now let's talk about a little bit of my history and a little bit of few of the things that I've learned that helped me to become successful in network marketing. By the time I was 27, 28 years old, I was earning $30,000, $35,000 a month, which back in those days was a lot of money. But the things I learned helped me to do that. The things I learned, of course, about network marketing, that you can start with very little and build something incredible. That you start with one person at a time, and then 2 people, and then 3 people. First thing you know, you've got 4 or 5 people involved with you in your organization. You first start with 5 or 10 customers, and then 40 or 50 customers, and then 100 customers. And so that philosophy of building person by person is very, very powerful. And that's why Mark chose this method of marketing. So I'd like to discuss some of Mark Hughes's philosophy. I'd like to give you some of the company philosophy. I'd like to give you some of my personal philosophy that I think will be beneficial to make this meeting here today very, very worthwhile. First of all, let me give you just a bit of the personal philosophy that really changed my life. In order to be successful, number 1 is to develop multiple skills. I was taught this back when I was 25 years old. When my first skill, of course, milking cows out on the farm, but it didn't pay very well. So here's what my mentor said when I was 25 years old: you must learn more than one skill. And especially now that we're entering the 21st century, if you were going to give someone excellent personal advice, here's the best advice you could give someone if they said, looks like you're successful, what personal advice would you give me for me to be successful? And here's what you should tell them: there's going to be fantastic opportunity in the 21st century. Not only in China, but every country of the world. Now that democracy and freedom and liberty is really sweeping the world, and now that capitalism, how to start with so little and develop service for the marketplace, is now the order of the day, opportunity in the 21st century is going to be unlimited. Now, especially for Herbalife, because the market for Herbalife products is more than we can even comprehend. Someone said to me not long ago, isn't $1 billion a year in sales a lot of sales? And I said, yes, but compared to the world market, it's like a grain of sand on the seashore. How much is $2 billion a year in sales? It's like 2 grains of sand on the seashore compared to the potential market around the world. When we get to 3 billion, that will be like 3 grains of sand on the seashore. Herbalife cannot grow fast enough to keep up with the market. We started selling Herbalife products 21 years ago in America. Today, there are more overweight people in America than there were when we started 21 years ago. And we're doing pretty good business in America. But we've only just barely touched the opportunity. So for the world as a whole, I think the 21st century is going to be a tremendous century of opportunity. But for Herbalife, it's going to be an unusual opportunity. Now, to take advantage of that opportunity, here's what you need. Number 1, multiple skills. More than one skill. When I was introduced to network marketing, I started learning these skills. Here's the first one I learned: how to make a sale, how to get a customer. I learned that skill, representing my product in the marketplace, getting people to say, yes, I will use your product. Now I've got 2 skills, milking cows and making sales. Guess which one paid better? Making sales, getting customers. Then I learned to recruit, build an organization, invite people to look at the opportunity and to join the company. And I found that recruiting people, getting them to do what you're doing, and if you're making an extra $100 a week selling Herbalife products, it's pretty easy to show someone how you're making this extra money, just by doing a few simple things, learning about the product, sharing it with other people. Because the marketing plan that I saw in the beginning was just two circles. One circle said, this is you, and you can sell this product and earn money. The second circle underneath said, you can introduce someone else to this business and help them to sell the product so that they can make money. Then the company will pay you extra money. That's what I saw at first. I only asked one question. How many of these people can I recruit to show them what I'm doing so that I'll make the extra money? And the answer was, as many as you wish. You can introduce as many people as you wish to the business. When I heard that, here was my comment: then I shall become wealthy. If there's no limit to the number of people that I can introduce to the business to show them what I'm doing so that they can make extra money, and then I not only make money on my own sales, but I make extra money by helping them to be successful. If that's unlimited, then my first response was, I shall become wealthy. That's all of the marketing system I really needed to see and to hear about for me to get excited about recruiting. Now, recruiting involves just three simple things. One is inviting people to look at the opportunity. The first people I wanted to look, of course, was my friends and relatives. And I said to them, it's not important to me that you join what I've got. It's not important to me that you buy, but it is important that you look. Because a year from now, if I'm doing very well, I wouldn't want you to call and say, how come you didn't call me? You didn't share with me this opportunity. And since I don't want that to happen a year from now, I'd like for you to at least look. I'm going to get plenty of people to join, so it's not important to me that you join, but it is important to me that you at least look. And so I learned to give a good invitation. Here was also one of my good invitations. I would be talking to someone and I would say, have you found the opportunity that's going to be excellent for financial opportunity for you and your family? Have you found the opportunity that's going to provide financial security for you and your family? If the answer was no, here was my second question. Are you actively looking for the opportunity that's going to provide financial security for you and your family? And if the answer to that question was no, then I said, let me give you the best advice perhaps that you've ever heard. The best advice you've ever heard. Because this advice was given to me. If you haven't found the opportunity that's going to provide financial security for you and your family, the advice that was given to me was, you should start actively looking. Every week you should spend some time looking for the opportunity that's going to provide financial security for you and your family. So the advice that was given me helped me to quickly find Herbalife this opportunity. And so I would offer you that same advice. Actively look so that you can report to your family, I'm still looking for the opportunity that's going to make us financially successful for the rest of our lives. I'm actively looking. So if you would accept my advice and to actively look, my opportunity I can show you right away. If you have time, we can get together just personally. If you have time, you can come to a meeting where we share the opportunity. And if you look at the opportunity I have, and if that's not for you, then here would be my advice. Keep looking until you find the opportunity for you and your family. That was one of my invitations. So I learned to invite. Then I learned that there were two kinds of meetings, two kinds of presentation. One was informal, just person to person. Wherever, in a coffee shop, having a cup of coffee, talking to someone person to person. Because Herbalife is a fairly simple plan. You can sell this product, then you can introduce someone to sell the product, show them what you're doing, making an extra $100 a week. And for doing that, they make some money, but you also make some extra money. It's very simple to share the plan. Then there's the formal meeting, and you all know what the formal meeting is, where someone describes the history of the company, someone describes the product, someone does the marketing, and then you finish up the meeting asking people to consider being a part of Herbalife. Now, I learned recruiting. So first of all, I learned sales. That greatly changed my income. Second, I learned recruiting. And of course, that multiplied my income some more. So now I've got how many skills? 3, milking cows, making sales, recruiting people. Here's the next skill that really helped my business to grow, and that's organization. Once you've got 4 or 5 people, you organize them to work together. Because working together in Herbalife is very powerful. You've already learned that, and it's the reason you've grown so fast. Getting people to work together. Here's why: to share testimonials. If you and I have just a little small meeting and you've invited 2 guests and I've invited 2 guests, when our meeting is finished, the guests I've invited join, and I ask them, what caused you to join after this meeting? And here's what they might say: it was your partner's testimonial. Your partner's testimonial. Maybe my testimonial would have been enough, but that extra testimonial by working with someone helped to make the difference. So working together is powerful because we get to share testimonials. And we don't know which testimonial might be the most effective in helping us to get someone to join the business. Also, working together creates extra power, extra enthusiasm. There's an ancient phrase that says, if 2 or 3 agree on a common purpose, nothing is impossible. If 2 or 3 agree on a common purpose, nothing is impossible. The power of 2 or 3. You don't need 2 or 3,000, but just 2 or 3 getting together, saying, let's do it. So here's the most powerful incentive, especially in business. It's not you go do it, it's let's go do it. Let's you and I do it. Let's you and I get healthy. As soon as you've been introduced to Herbalife products, you can actually sell the product before you have any results. Here's how you do that. You sell anticipated results. I've found this incredible product, and it looks like, from the testimonials I've heard and the testimonials I've read, it looks like I'm going to get fantastic results. Wouldn't you like to get started the same time I do? So the same day you hear about Herbalife, you can actually sell it. As soon as you join the business, you can recruit someone. I've just found this opportunity, and it looks like it's going to be financial opportunity for me, best I've ever had. Wouldn't you like to get started? So you can recruit someone right away. As soon as you've heard the opportunity, you can introduce someone to the opportunity by telling them about anticipated results. Looks like I'm going to get great results on the product, and it looks like this is the opportunity that's going to make me financially secure. Wouldn't you like to look, or wouldn't you like to join? That's very powerful. So I learned to recruit, I learned to sell, I learned to organize, get people working together. Then here's the next skill that really helped to change my business for the better, and that is learning promotion. Promotion is several parts. One major part of promotion is recognition. So here's what I learned. The company will reward distributors for major steps of progress. You must learn to reward people for small steps. The company takes care of the big steps. But you've got to think of ways to reward people for just the small steps. If someone gets 5 customers this week, you've got to think of some way to acknowledge them, giving them recognition. This person in my organization was number 1 last month. Because there can be more than number one, not just in Herbalife, not just in the state, not just in the organization, but in your group, number 1 last month, this person. They were number 3 the month before, number 1 last month. Recognition. Show them that you care, okay? I send you little thank you notes. So I learned promotion. Then I learned to promote the company events. Here's what's next, Herbalife Company. Here's what's next, New York. Here's what's next, East Coast. Here's what's next, extravaganza. So promoting little small things, if you reach this, here's what you will achieve. The small steps of progress, and then promoting the large steps of progress, Herbalife. So now I've got how many skills? Milking cows, making sales, recruiting, organizing, promoting. I've got 5 skills. See, if you only have one skill, you're very vulnerable economically. Very vulnerable economically if you only have one skill. So you give people the greatest opportunity by having the teaching and the training to help people learn more than one skill. Nobody gives better service than you do in your marketplace. Getting people to use the products and restore their health, getting people to learn more than one skill, be part of the company. Now here's the next skill I learned. And that was the skill of communication. Affecting other people with my language, my words. Using my language to paint a picture where someone could see something when I finished that they couldn't see before. Language creates the miracle of sight. Being able to see, because there's more than one way to see. One way to see is with your eyes. The other way to see is with your mind. Seeing with your eyes we call sight. Seeing with your mind we call insight. It's possible for human beings to close their eyes and say, I see it. I see it. Say, how can you see with your eyes closed? Say, no, there's another way to see. There's another way to see besides with your eyes. And that's to see with your mind. And here's what you can do with your language. Help people to see. Help them to see the opportunity. Someone after you speak to them may say, before I met you, I was blind. I couldn't see. Now that I've talked to you, I'm beginning to see. What do we want people to see? Number one, the problem. Because we're here to solve problems. 10 pounds overweight starts the critical, like this. 20 pounds overweight, really critical. 30, 40 pounds overweight, 50 pounds overweight, way over here. 50, 60 pounds overweight, danger, 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 danger. So, is there a place for Herbalife? The answer is yes. Millions of people now need the products you have in your hands. Right around where you live, especially on the East Coast, millions of people need your products. So first of all, we help people to see the need. You just have to say to your friends, you know, if you haven't thought about losing those pounds, I would advise you do, because here's what I've heard. And then you tell them the story. Dr. Jamie, others that share the story about how critical it is to be overweight. So we help them to see the need. Second, we help them to see the answers. We share the Herbalife product. And this is where Mark Hughes' philosophy comes in. Number one, he wanted the best, the most complete. Herbalife is so complete, in some countries, here's what we call it, a meal replacement. Now, you can't call it a replacement for a meal unless it is complete. It couldn't be half what you need. It has to be everything you need. It couldn't be part of what you need. Someone says you should take your vitamins, but that's not enough to take your vitamins. Yes, taking some extra vitamins would help. But if you want to lose a few pounds and you're going to use a meal replacement, it has to be complete. So here's number one, to get people to see that Herbalife is complete. It's not only the best, but it's complete. Now, here's what they have to do when you tell them it's complete. Take your word for it. You say, well, should I trust you? Well, if you're not going to trust me, here's what you would have to do. Take the products and have them analyzed yourself, whatever that would cost. Then after someone analyzed the product, you'd have to take their word for it. The only way to be absolutely sure would be to analyze the product yourself. Otherwise, you've got to take somebody's word for it. And since we have 21 years of history, since we have incredible testimonials, since we have an unbelievable reputation, and we've been saying it's complete for 21 years, and if it wasn't complete, we'd have been out of business a long time ago. So I suggest you take my word for it. It is complete. Now, on the business side, you get them to see what they may lack in terms of financial opportunity. And those are good questions to ask. Have you found the financial opportunity that's going to provide financial security for you and your family? If you haven't found it, are you actively looking? Because we want them to see the need. Because you don't know what financial challenges may come this year, next year, next year. Better to prepare now to be financially secure than to take a chance with your fingers crossed. So we get them to see the need for the products, we get them to see the need for the opportunity. Then we get them to see the answer that Herbalife provides in terms of the product, and we get them to see the answer about the financial opportunity. Now, here's the best way to illustrate the opportunity, both of the product and the business, and that's testimonials. So here's what we're asking you to do. Number one, develop your own testimonial about your success with the products. Develop your own testimonial about your success with the business. Not only for you to use your own testimonial, but for you to add one more testimonial to Herbalife's bank of testimonials. Now, make this note. Developing testimonials is hard work. You should always do more than you get paid for. Always do more than you get paid for. My father taught this philosophy to me. Do more than you get paid for. And here's what he added: to make an investment in your future. Even if you work on a job, if you do more than you get paid for, it makes you a valuable person. Valuable for promotion. Valuable for moving up. Valuable to the marketplace. Now, especially in Herbalife, if you do the extra work, here's the first work. Developing contacts. Getting the phone to ring, and you've already gone through that with flyers, ads, personal contact. Getting someone interested. Then number two, getting them to buy. Now, after they have purchased the product, you now have the money. But that's not the end of the work. Now you must invest time helping someone to use the product so that you have an excellent chance to get a good testimonial. Now, this time that you're investing is going to pay off later. The time you invest in helping someone use the product may not pay the first day, unless you get them to buy another one of Herbalife products. Once you have an Herbalife customer, you might as well say, if you're not using Herbalife shampoo, you might as well try it. So it's easy to talk about another product. So keeping in touch while you're developing the testimonial, it's possible to sell another product and another product. Products that people are normally using anyway. Might as well use Herbalife's product as someone else's. But here's the reason for investing that extra time and effort, to develop a testimonial. Now, some customers are really tough. It takes hard work to get them to stay using the products. You call Mary and say, Mary, are you using the product? She says, no, they're not going to work for me. I said, yes, they are. I said, no, I'm standing on the scales right now, and I tell you I'm not losing weight. And you have to say, Mary, the product doesn't work while you're standing on the scales. As soon as you get off those scales, it'll start working. So that's a little painful, takes time, takes effort. But here's a little saying: the greater the pain, the greater the testimonial. Same is true with a distributor. Someone who wants you to deliver a product to them at midnight. And I'm sure you already know, right? Developing a distributor takes work, and developing a customer takes work. But jot this down: it's the kind of work that pays big money. Just selling the product can make you a living. Developing testimonials can make you a fortune. The fortune is in the extra work. Getting people to use the product, developing a testimonial, getting people to try the business, keep going till they develop some success. So now we've talked about using your language to get people to see the needs, see the answers. Now here's two more important parts of communication. Number one, getting people to see themselves. The mistakes they might have made in the past. They've been careless with their health. Now they're overweight. We have to help people see themselves as they are. But here's now the miracle of communication: to help people see themselves better than they are. By language, we can take people into the past to review mistakes. And by language, we can take people into the future to see the promise of the future. My first teacher had this extraordinary ability to do that. When I made mistakes in my own judgment, he was quick to point it out. He asked me why I was not doing well when I first met him, and I said to him, I showed him my paycheck, and I said, "This is all the company pays. That's why I'm not doing well." And he corrected me and said, "No, this is all the company pays you." He said, "Doesn't the company pay 2, 3, 4 times this amount to other people?" And I said, "Yes." Then he said, "This is not all the company pays. This is what the company pays you." I'd never thought of that before. Then he said, "If you wanted to double and triple this amount, wouldn't you have to double and triple your value?" I said, "Yes, I suppose so." He said, "Then that's what you should go to work on. You don't have to go to work on the company, you only have to go to work on yourself." It was so important by his language to point out the mistakes in my philosophy. I thought that my income was determined by the economy, and I found out that my income was determined by my philosophy. But then here's the greatest use of language, is to help people see themselves better than they are, to help them see themselves successful, to help them see themselves through your eyes until they can really see it for themselves. Someone says to me, "I cannot see myself as president's team." Then I said, "You need different glasses. You need to use my president's team glasses. Because if I loaned you these president's team glasses and you put them on, you would say, 'Yes, there I am, president's team.'" So that's what we help people to do, to use our glasses. They borrow our glasses to see themselves successful. They see themselves financially independent. They see themselves with a big organization. They see it through your eyes. That's why we use testimonials from around the world. People that started with so little and developed so much.